This weekend, we experienced the biggest update ever added to Day of Dragons, but it poses the question, what did we really get? Today, I'm going to go over what changed in Update 1.0, besides the obvious 2 new dragons and the map. In order for the Biolumin and the Blitzstriker to work correctly, Be Awesome had to add physics for the hovering. Does this mean the Blitzstriker will be able to hover? That's not something I've heard before, but an interesting idea. They also added new camera modes, which is based, what we currently use, or input-based movement mode. Options are now toggled in the controller menu. Input-based actually allows players to move or rotate their character completely independent of the camera. They have also added settings to enable camera clipping when looking up in the third person, allowing players to see underneath their dragon. I think this will be especially helpful when checking if we have eggs under us. Be Awesome also enabled a feature called based substepping. This is meant to enhance the flight experience for those that are flying with low FPS. For those of us that are always trying to get into full servers, they added a 5-minute AFK timer in the spawn menu. This prevents players from taking up valuable space if they're AFK in the menu. If you haven't noticed by now, they added brand new UI and a heads-up display. The changes include a brand new title selection display from the social panel. They added new tabs to the character panel such as inventory, genetics, and survival. They also added something I totally missed until researching it, but a player name filter to the social panel group invite list for finding your friends more easily. And something I truly appreciate is for the photographer and all of us, we're able to capture those intense and amazing moments much faster, because when you enter photo mode, it no longer tells us we're going into photo mode. Be Awesome also updated the controller input icons and a new cursor instead of the old hand cursor. Be Awesome added the new Pearl loot and inventory system to 1.0. Pearls may be cosmetic, but they can also provide skin overlays or give buffs. Your dragon's class or tier determines your inventory size and which pearls may be carried. Your shimmer, gold skins, and jellies are now pearl overlays, and it's important to note that the overlays reset after you die. A huge change that came to flying is the addition of Second Wind. This is a stamina reserve which is recharged by first sleeping off any exhaustion, and then resting on the ground. With Second Wind, you can recover up to a quarter of your stamina by gliding while flying at high altitudes. Now, you just heard me talk about exhaustion, and that is another new feature of Day of Dragons. You may have noticed that your stamina bar will not fill all the way after you've run out of stamina. That's because you're exhausted. In order to get your bar to refill completely, you will have to sleep off the exhaustion. PvP has been revamped as well. The devs updated the hitbox detection for bile attacks and in-flight biting attacks on all of the dragons. They've also added a new damage type, armor piercing. This is similar to pierce damage, except that some of the damage is not stopped by pierce defense and is more likely to cause bleeding. With the addition of the Biolumin, many will try to kill it and eat it. However, you should know, the Biolumin is poisonous, and the only dragon not poisoned by the bio is the Acid Spitter. The Biolumin spit attack lasts 60 seconds and can be removed by washing it off in water. However, if the bio spits on you 5 times, the effect will last 15 minutes. With the addition of the new map, we also saw new game modes. You may notice PvE, which enables the Elemental. The Elemental will be coming to the game in the next couple of months. For those server owners that want a little more control, the devs have added a ton of new server configurations, such as same species grouping. Admins can now spawn all dragons with E-stats, a growth rate multiplier, disabled growth, disabled nesting, set your own server restart time, and a chat filter to stop words from being said in chat. You can also set the time of day yourself. With the addition of the Bio Dragon, you will have noticed the new Bio Bloom flowers. Something you may not have noticed, however, is that if you eat the flower, it will affect you by restoring a small amount of stamina. If you haven't noticed it yet, they've also added interactive water, so jump in and enjoy making tiny waves as you swim. Then, get out and watch your dragon drip dry. After that, take flight, and my personal favorite, finally, we can all fly through the clouds. We did see a ton of changes come to the game in 1.0, such as they made some optimizations for lots of players in the same area. Optimize animation logic to increase performance by 25 to 50% when 20 players are being rendered at the same time. Thornbacks and Spine Scarabs no longer leave a red pool of death. The Court emote now uses half of your stamina. New genetic updates, including skins and recessive genes. Spawning applies the dominant skin as recessive. Spawned random dominant genes are capped at plus 5%, and hidden spawned random recessive genes are capped at A. Upstatting mechanics have also changed. Broodwatchers, coming soon, have the ability to upstat any gene by 1 to 2 grades. Upstatting without a Broodwatcher is still possible. Dominant mutation now allows players to see their recessive genes. Pressing F to pop out of flight while flying no longer gives free altitude. Backing up speed is faster and turning is slower. They have also made changes to the flight acceleration. Acceleration should also be much more fluid and responsive. Admin heals now remove all status effects. And the admin password prompt now shows a mouse cursor. Devs and admins can now skip the special access, allowing them to play as normal players, which is great for playing while off duty. They also fixed the admin spectator mode. Added server warning messages that are sent to admins to notify of unusual activity. The admin chat now shows 4-digit player IDs. They added mutation stat encryption, slightly increased flybank speed for Shadowscale and the Flamestalker, tweaked the Shadowscale's combat values, reduced frost mitigation, slightly reduced pierce armor, slightly increased blunt armor and pierce/fire mitigation, increased Shadowscale's health, increased the Shadowscale's plasma damage, reduced Shadowscale's charged plasma shot damage. Shadowscale's cloak ability no longer contains stamina to maintain, but does cost stamina to activate and prevents stamina regen while active. The Flamestalker's thermal ability stamina cost was tweaked a little bit, and Scent no longer costs stamina. Fighting another dragon should now produce blood splashes. They tweaked the bile regen rates for everybody, reduced penalty for flying in high altitudes to allow for cloud flight. Flight breaking is now more responsive. Night vision now works any time of day. Creatures now look wet when going in water. They updated the skins, models, and textures on all of the dragons. Added and updated a lot of sound effects. Added Fmod banks. Increased the shadow map page pool. Virtual shadow maps are now disabled by default. You can no longer move your head while eating, drinking, or sleeping. You can no longer chat while sleeping. However, the commands are enabled during sleeping. You can no longer pick up and carry juvenile or adult dragon corpses. Remove the Pearl on and Pearl off commands. And player progress is now saved per server while dragons are saved per map. You may have seen a few fixes already, like audio no longer continues to play when an emote is interrupted. Scent sound no longer continues to play while sniffing stops. Fixed a bug preventing foliage interaction from working if the camera was beyond 4 meters from the plant. Fixed an issue where being bitten with very little armor would result in being one-shot. Fixed flight not working on peers after they entered render distance. No more watching people scoot along the ground in hover animation. Fixed a bug where players could continue to run after losing stamina if they never release shift. The mouse cursor should no longer be locked to the game menu. And they added root motion to some emotes to correct issues with hitbox detection. Now there are a few known issues with 1.0. Just off the top of my head, they know the rivers can be walked on in some of the areas. Some of the sound effects are still missing or need further polish. Some emote sounds are missing. Some skins, textures, animations may be missing or needing polishing. Some baby biolumin animations are still missing. The Flamestalker, Bio, and Shadowscale skins all show as iconic, but are unique skins that will be fixed in a hotfix. Players should select the skin they want, and it will show after the hotfix. Shadowscale Cloak is not working properly. These are just a few things that they know about, and they will be fixed shortly. Guys, I want to say thank you for watching today's episode. If you liked today's episode, please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'm going to see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.